I asked the school guard to take his stick out of my box, but he didn't listen to me.
My name is Emily. I'm 26 years old, a quiet girl by nature, not the type who talks much. I always preferred listening over speaking, maybe because I grew up in a very conservative family in Springfield, a simple but respectful home where modesty and sincerity were the most important values. Since I was young, I was always a little different from the girls my age. I loved studying and worked hard to be at the top of my class. My father always told me, "Education is your armor, Emily, and your dignity is your crown." I never answered him, but his words stayed engraved in my heart. I grew up believing a woman's worth was in her purity and self-respect. I never had a relationship with a man. No boyfriends, no secret calls, no hidden meetings. I felt comfortable like that. I had nothing to hide and nothing to fear losing. When I got into college, my life started to shift a little. I chose to study law because I loved justice and fairness, and I wanted to have a voice in society. Felt like I could contribute something meaningful. But college was in Portland, far from Springfield, and commuting wasn't possible with the heavy course load, so I decided to live in the girls' dormitory. The first time I entered the dorms, I felt a mix of comfort and fear. The place was well organized, guarded, and doors closed at exact hours. The security guard responsible for the building was Mr. Harris, a man in his 40s, seemingly kind and respectful to all the girls, but I always felt he treated me differently. Sometimes he smiled, sometimes he asked about my studies, sometimes he offered help that wasn't really his job. I brushed it off, telling myself, maybe he sees me like his daughter. The dorm was a world of its own, full of girls from different cities with completely different personalities. Some very open, others extremely reserved. I tried to stay in the middle, not too distant, not too involved. My room was number 214, shared with 3 other girls. Alyssa from Miami, open, cheerful, but with secrets behind her smile. Megan from Seattle, quiet, always writing in a small notebook every night. Carrie from Ohio, sweet but easily influenced, believing almost anything she heard. I immediately felt how different I was from them. I was the only one who slept early, didn't talk much, and stayed focused on my studies. They stayed up late, talked about relationships, love, and things I wasn't used to hearing at home. The dorm was like a small city, a cafeteria, a big courtyard full of girls taking pictures, a library always packed. But in all this noise, I felt an overwhelming loneliness. I missed my old life, my family, the warmth of familiarity. Still, I kept telling myself, this is my chance to grow and learn independence. But slowly, I started noticing behaviors around me. Strange whispers, secrets, girls sneaking into each other's rooms for unclear reasons. Some cried at night and laughed in the morning as if leading double lives. And Mr. Harris, his attention became more noticeable, too noticeable. One day, I overheard Alyssa and Megan talking. "Did you see what happened last night? The girls are all lost in that stuff." Their discussions shocked me. I couldn't understand why some of them behaved the way they did. Curiosity began eating at me from the inside. Why do they do these things? What are they feeling? What pushes them? I kept my distance, but I was observing, and slowly, curiosity grew stronger than my principles. One ordinary day on the outside, but heavy inside, I stayed alone in the room while the girls went out. A strange emptiness filled me. I thought of home, of my mother's warning. don't trust everyone, stay out of trouble. And my father, don't forget why you're there. Yet that day I weakened. A small thought grew bigger. A bit of curiosity, a moment of emotional emptiness. That's how mistakes begin. I opened the room door to let fresh air in. It was a girls-only dorm, so I felt safe. Then I went to take a shower. I never imagined Mr. Harris would enter, but he did. He took advantage of my moment of weakness, my trust, my innocence. I fainted from fear and shock. When I woke up, I cried, deep, painful tears. Not because of physical pain, but because my soul felt shattered. I whispered to myself, "Why did this happen? This isn't me. God, forgive me." From that day on, nothing felt the same. I blamed myself, even for what wasn't my fault. Shame swallowed me. Guilt drowned me. I stopped talking to anyone, stopped going out, and even praying became difficult, not because I didn't want to, but because I felt unworthy. Weeks passed in silence and tears, until one night, completely broken, I stood and prayed. I cried like I never had before, and in that moment, a small spark of peace entered my heart. I realized repentance isn't weakness, it's courage. Healing begins when you admit the wound. Slowly, step by step, I rebuilt myself. I read more, prayed more, isolated myself from toxic surroundings, and tried to forgive myself. Today, as I tell my story, my goal isn't drama or attention. My goal is a message. A moment of weakness can destroy so much. Protect your mind, your heart, and your dignity. And if you fall, remember that repentance and healing are always possible. Life taught me the hard way, but it taught me, and God never abandoned me. I am Emily, changed, scarred, but still standing.